Uh, so I've been very busy adding new exams for practice. Okay, so the first thing I did, I added a pre-test, a pre-algebra pre-test. I've added that. So now I rearranged it in the beginning so you can see where you are. This is the information you should know before the GED material. Inside of practice GED exams, I added two more exams. So I added let's see, 6 and 7. So I got two new GED exams, 6 and 7, and I'm working on another one, 9. That should be finished very soon, maybe in the next day or two. So I added 3 new exams to practice GEDs. And unless it says it like for numbers 8, 20 questions, most of them are full 40 questions, 45 question exams. Also, let's see, let me go here. In my post-test, I also added a algebra pre and post test. Now this is sufficient. It should get you ready. It's very similar to a practice GED test. It's a little longer. It's about, I believe 60 questions. And then I have an advanced pre and post test. That's oops, let me see. Okay, that you can use. Like for example, let's look at the algebra pre-post test. So just a couple questions. So if you go into that pre-post test, mine is going to say preview because I'm the one that created it, but it's similar to an actual test, how you would take the GED, and it's a lot of similar questions that you should be able to answer within 2 minutes. Okay, so now you can take it, I think up to each test, you can take up to 5 times. But let me show you, let me give you some examples. So for example, solve each equation. You should know this is cross multiplication or multiplying both sides by 4, x is 48. So that should take you, if you can't do that within like 15, 20 seconds, then you should gotta say, because each one of these are designed for you to be able to do less than 2 minutes. The money used in Jordan is called the dinar. The exchange rate is 3 to 2. For how many dollars would you receive if you exchange 22 dinars? You should be able to set it up like this. And notice you multiplying both top and bottom by 11, so it'll be 33. Boom. So again, these questions are specifically designed for you to be able, now you can use the calculator if you need it, but I designed them specifically for you to be able to do them less than 2 minutes each problem. Okay. Again, something like this, slope of 3. So you should be able to know right away that it can't be D because D has a slope of -3. You should know X is -18. If I add 18 both sides, that should be 9. Bam. Now this you should be able to use the calculator on and substitute, or if you did it by hand, 16 minus 8, because -2 to the 4th power is 16, -8 is 8, and then -4 minus a -2, that's is going to change to a plus, so that's -2, so that'd be 8 divided by -2, -4. Now again, you should be able to use the calculator here. What equation is parallel? You should be able to look at this and say parallel lines have the same slope. So I'm looking for the equation with -1/3. The only one here with -1/3 is there. Okay, so I specifically designed every problem here. You should be able to do it fairly quickly. Again, this is the algebra pre-post test. I've been very, very busy with creating practice exams for the last couple of days. That's all I've been doing. I thought I had one more. Maybe not. Is it here? Yes, I showed you those already. Now, just to reiterate, with feedback, after you answer a question, if it's incorrect, it should give you feedback on what you did wrong. Again, similar to actual tests, it's not going to give you feedback. Okay, it's just like the real test. So I have a bunch of different practice tests now. So I have what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. So you have 13 practice tests. So before you take your exam, you got one place that you can come to that you can practice to make sure you understand of the different types of problems. And again, what I would do, again, is before I'm taking my test, I would do, these practice exams. But before you take your test, then set up your one-on-one with me. So anything that you don't know how to do, I can hone in on that skill to make sure you know how to do it. So I've been very busy with giving practice tests so you can pass your exam. All right, so and that's in Schoology. So if you signed up for Schoology, listen, I'm telling you, you don't have to pay for practice tests. I have practice tests right here. Okay, and if it's similar to actual tests, you can actually, if you pick a practice test that says similar to actual tests, what you can actually do is just like the real exam is, you can flag for review. So if you have a question that you don't know, like for example, say you didn't know this, you can flag it for review and go to the next question. Here, I don't know that one. I'm gonna flag it for review. So now you can go to this review section and you'll see that you flagged the first two problems. Okay. Not only that, if you have a problem, you can eliminate choices. So for example, if you know this is a positive slope here, from left to right is going up, I want to eliminate anything negative. So I know it's either 1 or 0. Now, I know a 0 slope is a straight horizontal line. So now I just eliminate it without doing any work at all. Pick my A, I can go to my next question. So this will help you get ready. If you need to use a calculator, I have a calculator available for you. Now, it's not the TI-30XS. So if you have the TI-30XS, I'd rather you use that. But I did make this available to you. So again, you got one place where you can take your practice exams and make sure you're ready for your exam before you set up your one-on-one with me. All right, so that's enough of that. Okay. Any questions of anything someone had troubles with this week? Oops, that's my email. Oops, got too much stuff open. Oh my goodness, too much work. I've been working with several people. 2 people passed this week. I have another 2, I think, scheduled this week. So again, when you're ready, take those practice exams. If you received the email from me saying, have you scheduled your exam? Or have you taken your practice test? That means I think you should be almost ready to take your exam. So you want to, focus in on that. Now a lot of people have fear and anxiety about taking the exam. If you're going through my practice exams and you're scoring about 60, you are ready to get your one-on-one to ready to take your exam. If you're scoring 70 and 80, schedule your one-on-one. Let's go take that exam and get done. I have several people scored over 70 that haven't scheduled their exams yet. If you scored over 70, 80, schedule your one-on-one with me and go ahead and schedule that exam. Let's get that over and done with. Don't let fear cripple you. Don't let fear cripple you. So any types of problems that anyone had issues with this week?
Mr. Kenzie, I have to schedule my appointment with you before Monday because I have my exam on Monday.
Okay, so make sure, so tonight schedule. Stay on afterwards. We make sure you get scheduled.
Okay.
So so we might be able to put 1 or even 2 one-on-one sessions real quick before Monday. So today is Monday. You got a week. Let's schedule at least 1, maybe 2 sessions before next Monday.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Anybody else that been working on something that they're confused about? Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna tell you what I've noticed. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put several different numbers on the screen. Let's see. Let me see. 0.307, 1/2, 35%. Let's do 3/8 and 0.003. Oops, that's a little sloppy there. 0.003. Okay. What I want everyone to do, what I noticed this week, I seen about 4 people have issues with putting decimals, fractions, and percents in order. Okay. This is one of your probably, if you get this question, it'll be one of your first 5 questions. Okay. So 0.307, 1/2, 35%, 1/8 and 3/8. So I'm going to number them. 1, 2, 3. No, matter of fact, I'm not going to number them. Just I want you to put them in order for me, and I want you to send me it in the chat. I'm going to give 2 minutes. I want you to put these numbers in order for me. This is an area that I notice people are having problems with. This is one of the easiest questions on exam. We can't miss this problem. So I want you to, in the chat, send me from least to greatest. Put these in order from least to greatest and send me your answer in the chat. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for this problem. And I need an answer from everyone. Unless you at work. If you at work and you can't answer, that's fine. So what I say, 2 minutes? I'll give you 3 minutes. Try to get 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Now this is something you should be able to do in 2 minutes. I'll give you 2 minutes. So again, put these in order from least to greatest. Put these in order from least to greatest. I saw about 4 people have issues with this concept. Can't miss this. Tasha, that's incorrect. Incorrect. And I'm gonna make sure tonight, we're gonna make sure we know how to do these problems. Put this list of numbers in order from least to greatest and send me your answer in the chat. So Nina, you gave me 4 numbers. There's 5 numbers there. So you're missing 1. And make sure you put the decimal point. The decimal points matter. Put these in order from least to greatest. We have a full house tonight. Y'all better stop playing. That's right. We want to pass this exam. Put the numbers from least to greatest in order. If you don't know how to do it, put IDK. Okay, then that was 2 minutes. I'm gonna add 1 more minute. That was 2 minutes. I'm gonna add 1 more minute. I'm not gonna go past 3 minutes. Okay, I got 1 I don't know. That's fine. Okay, got another I don't know. So I'm glad I saw this, though. I'm glad I saw it. Remember, when you do, and this is important, as you're taking your Schoology test, I'm looking at all of them. Everything you handle on Schoology, I look at. Every single test, every single quiz, every single practice exam. Claudette, bang, bang, bang. Oh, you made 1 small mistake. Claudette, you almost had it. Almost. See, incorrect. Brandis, bam, 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 bam. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not 7/8. That's 3/8. I apologize. That's 3/8. Okay, so Brandis, it look like you have it, I believe. Oh, no, you just missed it. You missed it. All right, so Nina, let's go. Okay. That is incorrect, Nina. So now this is what I wanted to see. And this is what happens if everyone takes these quizzes, take your practice test, do this practice in Schoology. That gives me feedback so I know what I can cover in these sessions. So not one person has answered this problem correctly. Not one single person. So let's go over it. The first thing we want to do is, remember, decimal, fraction, decimal, percent equivalent. So what we're going to do is change everything to a decimal first. We're going to change everything to a decimal. So we're going to change everything Matter of fact, I'm gonna say convert to decimal. Convert to decimal. And this is the easiest way, I think. Now you can decide what you want to do. Kelly, just put our answer in. You're missing 3/8, but you're almost there. You're missing 1. Okay, so convert to a decimal. 0.307 is already a decimal. So we're just gonna bring that down. What is 1/2? Can anybody tell me what 1/2 is as a decimal?
Is it 0.5?
0.5. What is 35% as a decimal?
0.35.
0.35. Can anybody tell me what 3/8 is as a decimal?
0.35, 375.
0.375. And then 0.003 is already a decimal. So Claudette just sent me a message. She said, listen, I had a similar question on the exam and I got it wrong. Listen, so again, this is a person who took the exam, is telling you this type of problem is on the exam. The next step, does anybody know what, so the first step was convert to a decimal. Does anybody know what the next step would be? Once we converted to decimal, did anybody tell me what's the next step? What should we do next?
Line them up by the decimal points, by the place value.
Nope, we don't need to do that. Nope. Anybody else?
What? Don't you put them in order?
No, not yet. Not yet. Okay. So what I'm gonna tell you.
100.
Add zeros.
Add zeros. So what you do, you look at the number that has the most decimal places. And whatever that number is, you make sure every number has that same number of decimal places. So if what is the most amount of decimal places?
But you're gonna do that 0.5, right? Put two zeros there.
Well, before we answer, before we tell what we're gonna do with the 0.5, what's the most number of decimal places? What number? How many decimal places? What's the most?
It needs 2, right?
Okay, that first number, how many decimal places does it have?
Oh,
3.
you talking about
3. The second number has how many?
1.
1.
One.
The third one has how many?
2,
2.
The third one has how many?
3.
3, and the last one also has 3. So what we want to do is we want to make sure all of the numbers have 3 decimal places. So 0.5 and 0.35 doesn't have 3 decimal places. What can we do to make sure they have 3 decimal places? What can we add at the end of each of those numbers?
Zeros.
Zeros. So what we're gonna have is 0.307, 0.5, and how many zeros are we gonna add?
You talking about from
2. We're gonna add 2 to 0.5. So we added 2 zeros. How many zeros are we gonna add for 0.35?
1.
1. Then we got 0.375. Then we got 0.003. Now, watch how easy it is to put these in order. What's the lowest number? What's the lowest number first?
0.003.
0.003.
0.003. 3. What's the next lowest number?
0.307.
0.307. What's next?
I got confused on this one. 35 or whatever that is.
0.350.
0.350. What's next?
0.357.
0.375. And what's last?
0.50.
0.500.
Now, we're changing the decimal, so we got to put them in order. So we look right at the top. What's first? 0.003. What's next? 0.307. What's third? 35%. What's fourth? 3/8. What's last? 1/2. That's how you put fraction, decimal, percents in order. Okay, you already had a peer tell you they had this problem on the exam. You have to be ready and to compare fractions, decimal percent. My advice is change them all to decimals first, add zeros if needed, and then compare your numbers. That's how you can tell. If they ask you for less than, greater than, they tell you to put them in order. This is what you do. Convert to decimals, add zeros, then compare. Any questions?
So the first 5 questions, you cannot use a calculator. So you have to convert these yourself.
Yes.
Yes,
But-
this was in the first 5 questions, and I couldn't get it.
Right. So now you should be able to get it. Now, so T said, hold on, Mr. Tinsley. What? So this is what I would advise you to do. Let me save this. Let me clear it. This is what I would advise you to do. Fraction, decimal, percent. The GED only has the most common fractions. You won't see 3/16. You won't see 7/25. Only the most common fractions. 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/8. They barely use 6 and 7ths. 1/9 and 1/10. You should know the decimal equivalents. Can anybody tell me the decimal equivalent of 1/2?
0.5,
0.5. What's the decimal equivalent of 1/3?
0.033,
0.33. 1/4.
0.25.
0.25. 1/5.
I don't remember that.
Is it 60?
Nope.
0.2.
0.2. 1/8.
0.125.
0.125. 1/9.
I don't know, Mr. Is it 0.111? I mean,
Point-
111?
0.111 or 0.11?
0.11.
0.11. And 1/10 we all should know is 0.1. You should know these fractions, decimal percent equivalents. Now, let's go to percents. Now, if we know the decimal is 0.5, what is the percent for 1/2?
50%,
50%. What is it for 0.33? What is the percentage?
33%,
33%. 0.25.
25%,
0.2.
20%,
20%. 0.125.
12.5%,
12.5%. 0.11.
11%,
And then 0.1.
100,
No. How many
10,
places do you?
10,
10%.
Sorry.
10%. That's okay. Now, so T, to answer your question, we can't use the calculator. But if you know all the common fractions, I'm going to show you a little trick. Are you ready for the trick? So for example, if I know 1/4 is 0.25, I know 2/4 is 0.25 times 2, which is 0.50. 25 times 2 is 50. 3/4 is 25 times 3, which is 0.75. Okay, 1/8 is 0.125. 3/8 is 0.125 times 3, so that's 375. So if you know the common fractions, 1/9 is 0.11. 4/9 is 0.44. 11 times 4 is 44. So if you know the common fractions, their decimal equivalents, you then can know the fraction, decimal, percent equivalents for any common fraction on the GED. So another piece of advice I give you, if you have a problem with volume, area, and they give you fractions, convert them to decimals and use your calculator. So if they tell you that the volume is 340 3/4, you should know 3/4 is 0.75. So the volume needs to be 340.75. That way you don't have to do the calculations with fractions. You convert them to decimals. So if they give you a width of 7.7 no, that's 7.5. If they give you a length of 4.25, no, that's 4.25. And it'll make it a lot easier in terms of your computation and your calculations. This is one of the most important things in mathematics for mental math, to know your fraction, decimal, percent equivalents for your common fractions. If I were you, I would take a screenshot, or I'll send you a screenshot or whatever, write these down and know them. I would give myself 2 to 3 days to know them all.
So how
Because
would you calculate 1/12?
1/12?
Yeah,
Okay, so 1/12 is not a common fraction, but
yeah.
1/12 is not a common fraction. You didn't see that on your exam. I'm telling you, they only use.
Yes, it was.
I don't know.
Yes, I'm telling
okay.
you. And
Okay.
416.
Okay. Watch this. Watch this. I'm gonna show you something. What does 1/12 mean? What does this line mean between the fraction?
Divide.
What's 1 divided by 12? Throw it in your calculator. Remember, listen, math is built on foundation. We know this is division. I don't care what fraction they give you, you can change it to a decimal. Can anybody tell me what 1/12 is as a decimal?
0.8, so 0.83333.
Okay, so equal 0.083. What is 0.083 as a percentage? What is 0.083 as a percentage?
83%.
83%. 8.3%.
Why? Because we need to move the decimal. How many places?
Twice to the right.
Okay, it does not matter. Now, I said make sure you know the common fractions. That'll make it easier. But let me tell you something. It shouldn't matter what fraction they give you, because you know how to change every fraction to a decimal. You're just doing division. And you know how to change every percent to a every decimal to a percent. Whether you use the calculator or not, if you don't, you should make sure. You have to know that line between the fraction means division. I don't care what the fraction is, 3/16. Watch this. I'm not scared of 3/16. Why? Because I'm going to go to my calculator, 3/16, and I'm going to change it to a decimal. 0.1875, I'm going to change that to a percent. It's nothing you should be scared of, but you have to understand what this means. You understand the foundations of math: fraction, decimal, percent, equivalence. I would know that table that I just gave you: 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/8, 1/9, 1/10. I would know the decimal equivalence, the percent equivalence, and I would know any multiple of those. It will make your job a lot easier. Because when you see those common fractions on those volume and area problems where they give you the length is 7 3/4, change it to a decimal. It'll make your job a lot easier. And with this calculator, you can go back and forth between fractions and decimals. It'll do it for you. Learn how to use this calculator. It'll make your job a lot easier. So that's how. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do another example. And this time I'm going to give 2 minutes, and we're going to put the decimal.
Could you put back up the list first?
Say that again.
Could you put back up the list?
Okay. I'm going to have to go back. Hold on.
Oh, not the, okay.
It's okay. I can rewind. There we go. Is that all of them? Yeah. Oops. There we go. I will make sure I know this. I'm telling you, as a math teacher, just in general, you should know your fraction, decimal, percent equivalents. Now, I know 1/6 and 1/6 and 1/7 too. 1/6 is 0.166, 1/7 is 0.14. But those aren't common fractions. So now, Claudette, I'm telling you, when you look on the exam, I talk to the content creators, I talk to people at GED all the time. I give presentations for GED. Now, if they are using non-common fractions, that may be new, because I haven't talked to anybody at GED in a while.
Mr. Tinsley, I did the test 5 times. So I'm telling you, And it gets harder every time. Just like the science.
Now, I'm not saying, no, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you won't see uncommon fractions. When you have to do computations, you won't see common fractions. For example, if you got to do a ratio and proportion, they might say 5/12. But what I'm talking about is when you got to do a computation for volume, area, a mixed number, change a fraction to a decimal, put the fractions in order, there'll be common fractions. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you won't see 5/12 because they might have a proportion problem on there where you may have to set a proportion up and then you have an uncommon fraction. But if you got to do a computation with that fraction, usually it's only common fractions. 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/8, 1/9, 1/10, and those multiples of each. Multiples of each. Okay.
Okay, I'm finished. Thank you.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do another example. Hold on, another example. Let's do it. We got 12 people in here tonight. Woohoo! We got a party. You better stop playing. Who got the drinks? I think I'm a comedian. But anyway, let me make it. Let me do 3/4, 7.5%. Let's do 0.007. Let's do 4/9. And let's do another decimal, 0.73. From least to greatest. And put your answer in the chat. I'm only going to give 2 minutes. So remember, our goal is to change each one to a decimal, add zeros, then compare. Change to a decimal, add zeros if necessary, compare. I'm going to get 2 minutes. Let me set my timer. 2 minutes. And send me your answer in the chat. This is what I like to see. 12 people. I love it. Yes. So we had, so least to greatest, 3/4, 7.5%, 0.007, 4/9, and 0.73 or 73/100. Put them in order from least to greatest. And send me your answer in the chat. Make sure you put those decimal points for me, Nina. Send me those answers again with the decimal points. Do not, remember, decimal points change the value of that number. You want to make sure you keep those decimal points. Seven 7.5, 9 3/4. That is incorrect. Let me see. I can't see. Brandis, that is incorrect. Remember, make sure you add those zeros at the end. Now that was 2 minutes. I've only had 2 people respond, so I'm gonna extend 1 more minute. And listen, understand, the reason why I'm limiting your time is because this is how the GED is gonna make you feel. So what I want to do is, I'd rather you understand that pressure and used to doing problems in less than 2 minutes. So when you get to your exam, you don't feel pressure at all. The purpose here by having Schoology and setting this time limit is to remove that anxiety, to move that frustration when you take your exam. Good evening. Okay. Okay, I'll try to send you the link. Hold on for 1 second. Let me try to send this link. So you have a little bit more time. I'm trying to send this link to a student. She said she can't, the link is not working. Okay. Here we go. Okay, the timer went off. Okay. Okay, Brandon's still incorrect. So, all right, let's go step by step. Okay, our first step is to convert all of these numbers to what?
Zeros.
No,
Oh, let me decimals. I'm sorry.
decimal. What is 3/4, 3/4 as a decimal?
0.75.
0.75.
0.75. 0.75. What is 7.5% as a decimal?
0.07.
Zero. Mm-hmm.
Correct. This is where most people will make the mistake on this problem. Remember, you want to move that decimal 2 places to your left. 1, 2, and when there's nothing there, you add a 0. So that's how you get 0.075. So this is the mistake most people made when I'm looking at the chat. Converting 7.5% to a decimal incorrectly. Remember, to change a percent to a decimal, you must move the decimal 2 places to the left. Always. 0.075, 0.007 is already a decimal. What is 4/9 as a decimal?
I thought it was
0.44.
0.44. And then 0.73, actually it's 44, is a repeating decimal, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to get into that. We're going to keep it as 0.44 and then 0.73, right? So when we look at these decimals, what's the max amount of decimal places in these numbers? What's the most amount of decimal places to any one of these numbers?
Thousands place 3.
3. So that means any number, any decimal does not have 3 decimal places, we're going to do what?
Add 0.
Add 0. So how many are we going to add to 0.75?
1.
1. So 0.750, 0.075, 0.007. How many zeros are we going to add to 0.44?
1.
1. And then how many zeros are we going to add to 0.73?
1 also.
1 also. So now they all have 3 decimals. You should be able to look at the numbers and you can ignore the decimal points now. Okay, you can look at them as just regular numbers when you put them in order. Which one should go first?
0.007.
0.007. So that's 0.007. What should go next?
0.075.
0.075, which is 7.5%. What should go next?
0.440.
0.440, which is 4/9. What should go next?
0.730.
0.730, which is 0.73. And last but not least, 0.750, which is 3/4. That's how you put decimal, fractions, percents in order. You should not get this wrong at your exam. If you got to watch this video over and over again and keep practicing until you get it, this is a problem you cannot miss on your exam. That fraction, decimal, percent equivalence is very, very important. Very, very important. Okay. The next thing I want to now, again, these are problems that people have been working on in Schoology, and I noticed several people got them wrong. So what no, in fact, let me type it in. What is the slope of the what is the equation that is parallel to y equal 3x minus 5? A y equal 1/3 x. Oops, 1/3 x. This is actually wrong in general, but I'll put it like that, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. Because that x is actually the denominator. Should actually be multiplication. Should actually look like this. So if I say y equal let me see, minus 3x minus 10, or y equal minus 3x plus 2, and then y equal minus 1/3 x plus 12. Oops, I forgot the C and D. C and D. So what I want you to do, and I'm going to, okay, Claudette, what we can do is make sure we can help set that up. Schoology has been bought out by another company, so there's been some issues with Schoology. So what we'll do is we'll talk after tonight's class. So what is the equation that is parallel to y equal? Oh, let me put one more. I'm sorry.
Mr. Kenzie, I see you don't have none there. Yeah.
Okay, so Darlene was about to throw a boulder.
Yeah.
At me because she realized something very important. So what is the equation that's parallel to y equal 3x minus 5? Is it A, B, C, D, or E? A, B, and send me your answer in the chat. Darlene, you are correct. Oops, I didn't mean to put the same exact one. Hold on, minus 15. That was a mistake. So I'm gonna give 1 minute. A, B, C, D, or E. What is the equation that's parallel to y equal 3x minus 5? Shannon, correct. I'm gonna give him 1 minute for this problem. Kelly, correct. T, correct.
What?
Claudette, correct. Brandis, incorrect. Okay.
Let me see.
Darlene, correct. So Nina, Latasha, Bridget, and Sheila should all give me answers within the next 5 seconds because time is up. Nina, that's incorrect. What do we know about parallel lines? Can anybody tell me what do we know about parallel lines?
They run along each other.
I'm sorry, T, what you
They
say?
have the
They have
same
the
slope.
same slope.
They have the same slope.
They run parallel to each other.
Okay, so I heard they run parallel to each other. Can that, because they run parallel, can you really, when they run parallel, what does that imply if two lines are parallel?
They never
They
cross.
have the same slope.
Right, so because they're parallel lines never cross. That is true, but the important factor you need to know is parallel lines have the same slope. So this is a question that most people get incorrect because they don't even know where to start. They're looking at it as like, well, am I trying to find it? What? This is an easy problem. All you're doing is saying, okay, what's the slope of this equation here? What's the slope? What's the slope of y equal 3x minus 5?
Oh my gosh.
3x.
This
3x.
Definitely not.
3x, yeah, right?
If
It's
you
not
said
3x?
if you said 3x, you are wrong.
3.
3. Remember,
Oh
y
man.
equal mx plus b, where m is the slope, b is your y-intercept. All you are doing is looking at the coefficient in front of the x, and that's going to tell you your slope. You can't have a variable inside your slope. So just from now on, if you say y, x, and I ask for slope, wrong. It has to be a value. So the slope here is 3. Your slope is 3. What's the slope of A?
1/3.
1/3. What's the slope of B?
-3.
-3. Slope of C.
-3.
Slope of 4.
-1/3.
-1/3. The slope of E.
3.
3. So in order to answer this question, you have to know that parallel lines have the same slope. That's a 15-second problem. That's a 15-second problem because you have to know parallel lines have the same slope. Okay, so what they've been doing is so now that question is a little different. They didn't say what's the slope of a line that's parallel. They said what is an equation that is parallel. Remember, when you see that multiple choice, guess what? There's only going to be, if they ask you for an equation and don't give you a point, it's only one equation there. That's the answer. Now, let me change this up a little bit. Let's do, let me change this up a little bit. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to erase this thing. Watch this. Let me do this. I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to change this up. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Wow. Oh, how do I undo? Here we go. Oops, what did I do? Wow. All right, let's see if I can get this. Here we go. Oops. Oh, my goodness. Now, I'm going to change this up just a little bit. Let me move this out the way for a second so I can get rid of this, get rid of all this. Move this back. I'm going to keep the same multiple choice. And my question to you is, what is the equation that is perpendicular to y equal 3x minus 5? So the first question, I asked you what ones is okay, Latasha. So the first question was, what's the equation of a line that's parallel? This question is a little different. It's going to ask you, what is the equation that is perpendicular? And I want you to put your answer in the chat, A, B, C, D, or E. Shannon, you are correct. Oh, I see why I made a mistake though. Now I see what somebody was saying just a minute ago. That's supposed to be a plus or minus. Let's see, I got about 3 answers that quick. Claudette, you are correct. Kelly, you are correct. Got about 30 seconds left. I gave you 1 minute. T, you are incorrect. Brandis, you are incorrect.
All right.
Darlene, you are correct. Now, the reason why I only gave you a minute is because you should be able to determine the slope of the original line, and you should be able to find the slope of a line that's parallel, and you should be able to find a slope that's perpendicular within 30 seconds. So what we said before is the slope of this line was 3. So how do I find the slope of a perpendicular line? What do I do to find the slope of a line that's perpendicular?
Perpendicular, you have to know what the slope is.
And we said the slope was 3.
Which is the slope is 3. So it's 3 over 1. So now you have to flip it and change the sign.
Okay, so what Darlene said is, to find the slope of a line that is perpendicular, you must take the other line. You must find the slope of the other line. So what she did was she found the slope of the other line, which was 3. She converted that to an improper fraction, which is 3 over 1. Then she said, change the sign of that slope and flip it. So the slope of 3 is positive. So if we change the sign, positive becomes negative. And then if we flip 3 over 1, it becomes 1 over 3. So in this problem, you have to know to find the slope of the perpendicular, you must take the negative inverse. Now that's mathematical terms. Let's put it in layman's terms. Like Darlene said, she put it in layman's terms. Change the sign and flip it. Change the sign and flip to find the slope of a line that is perpendicular. Okay, so the original line, so what you got to do is you got to find the slope of the original line, which is 3. She changed it to an improper fraction, which was 3 over 1. Why does she flip it? I mean, why does she change to an improper fraction? You need to do that so when you flip it, you'll see the 1 over 3, and then change the sign, which is negative 1/3. Everybody understand that? Okay, good. All right, so let me ask you a question. Okay, so I'm on a roll now. So I want to say y equal negative 1/4 x minus 5. What I want to know is I want to know the slope of this line. I want to find the slope of a line that is parallel, and I want to find the slope of a line that is perpendicular. So what is the slope of this line, this original line? What is the slope of this line?
Negative 1 over 4.
Negative 1 over 4. Because this is slope-intercept form. This is slope-intercept form. And what we know is when we get a linear equation that starts with y equal, whatever numbers in front of that x is your slope. So all we did was quickly look at this equation and know the slope is negative 1/4. What is the slope of a line that's parallel?
Negative 1 over 4.
Negative 1 over 4. Why did you say negative 1 over 4, Darlene?
Because it's the same, nothing changed.
Because parallel lines have the same exact slope. Now, how do we find the slope of a line that's perpendicular? So I heard somebody say positive.
Positive 4 over 1.
Negative 4 over 1. And what's 4 over 1 reduced to?
Which is 4.
Which is 4. So what you also have to realize, sometimes they will throw different ways to answers for this question. So they might give you an equation. So if you know the slope is 4, any equation that starts with y equal 4x has a slope of 4. So y equal 4x plus 2, y equal 4x minus 5, these all have a slope of 4. Okay, that's another question. Now, usually they give you either one parallel or one perpendicular. You got to be ready. Usually they only give you one. Now, the person who just took the exam the other day said she had 2. She had slope of the parallel line and slope of the perpendicular line. Okay, parallel lines have the same slope. To find the slope of a perpendicular line is the negative inverse. Change your sign and flip it. Everybody understand that? Okay, so
Yes.
now, what if I'm going to change it? Let's see, 3x minus 4y equal 8. I want to know the slope of this line. I want to know the slope of the parallel line. And I want to know the slope of the perpendicular line. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm going to make that brain hurt tonight. 3x minus 4y equal 8. I want to know the slope of this line. I want to know the slope of any line that's parallel to it. And I want to know the slope of any line that's perpendicular to it. So I'm going to give you 1 minute. I need you to put those answers in the chat for me. So you separate it by a comma. The slope of the original line, slope of the parallel line, the slope of the perpendicular line. That's right. Shannon, that is incorrect. And this is why I chose to do this problem next, because this is another mistake so many people make. And I want to make sure that we have some clarity on this problem. Kelly, incorrect, incorrect, incorrect. So all 3 of yours incorrect. Yes. So we're gonna learn how. Kevin Hart, you're gonna learn today. Again, this is a place where we can make mistakes and not be pressured. This is a place where we can make mistakes and not have to worry. Darlene, incorrect. Okay, that was 1 minute. I'm extended 1 more minute. No problem, sir. Have a good night. It's 7 o'clock. If you do have to go, it's no problem. This is going to be the last problem for the night. I want you to find the slope of this line, the slope of any line that's parallel to this line, and the slope of any line that's perpendicular to this line. Now I can't see, I only can see a couple people, but what I feel is it's a whole lot of people sweating right now. Okay, Shannon, that's incorrect. Claudette, that's incorrect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here. Well, it's only 10 seconds left. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds. T, incorrect. Incorrect and incorrect. Okay, so time is up. I need everybody to pay particular attention to what I'm about to say right now. There are two types of equations, linear equations, that you should be familiar with. The first one is slope-intercept form. And that's the form we just did, y equal mx plus b. You should also be familiar with standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. In order to find the slope of a line in standard form, does anybody know?
Oh, that's where you got me.
Can anybody tell me how to find the slope of a linear equation in standard form?
Yes. The 3 is -3 over -4.
That's right. So in terms of
And
what we're going to do is, in order to find the slope, is -a over B, and to find the y-intercept is C over B. So what you should notice is that this equation is standard form. So AX plus BY equals C. What's my A?
3,
3. What's my B?
-4,
Negative
4.
4.
My C is what?
8,
Negative 8.
Eight.
Negative 8.
No, who said -8?
8.
Just 8. So if I want to find a slope, now I told you how to find a slope. Take the opposite of A and put it over B. So to find the slope of this line, what would it be?
-3
3x over 4
over
would be
So
4x over 3 plus 2.
Which is, they will become a positive, which is 3 over 4.
okay, very important. So I heard several people say -3 over -4. But what's important is, remember, we have to finish this problem out. It's not -3 over -4. We're not done. 2 negatives make a what?
Make a positive.
Make a positive. So the slope of this line is 3/4.
Mhm.
Okay, so the first thing you
Plus.
need to identify, is it standard form or is it slope intercept form? If it's slope intercept form, we're just taking what's in front of the X. If it's in
It's
standard form,
form.
you need to take the opposite of A and put it over B to find the slope. So if our slope is 3/4, what's the slope of the parallel line? Any parallel line?
Same 3/4.
3/4, the same 3/4. What's the slope of any line that's perpendicular to this line?
4/3.
You're close.
4/3.
Change the sign and flip.
Oh, negative 4/3.
-4/3. -4/3.
Oh, change
Okay.
the sign.
So it's very important that we understand, is the linear equation in slope intercept form or is in standard form? So you can use
in
Schoology to practice
Standard
both
form.
ways. Standard form, those are the two that's most likely on your exam. Slope intercept form and standard form. You have to be able to identify the slope from those two, those different types of forms. Now remember, let me show you something real quick before we leave. I'm sorry. Let me just show you. Let me take a picture of this. Let me erase this, because I want to show you something. I want to prove it to you. Okay, math is about math. You should be able to prove everything, every result. You should be able to check it. Watch this. I'm going to prove it to you. Watch this. Okay, watch this. So I'm going to change back to red. 3x minus 4y equal 8. If I wanted to solve for y, I need to get rid of the 3x. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I don't put that minus 3x under the 8 because they're not like terms. The 3x is canceled. I got minus 4y is equal to, now remember, I want y equal mx plus b. So I'm going to put that minus 3x first. That 8 is positive. To get the y by itself, I need to divide by -4. Since they are not like terms, I need to divide separately. So I need to divide this by -4. I need to divide this by -4. The -4 is canceled. I get y equal -3 over -4 is a positive 3/4 x. And then 8 over -4 is a -2. So now I change this equation to be in slope-intercept form. What's my slope? 3/4. My y-intercept, -2. So let me prove. So again, let's prove it again. Minus, so the slope is -a over b. My y-intercept is c over b. This is my a, this is my b, this is my c. So -3 over -4. Oops, I said -4 and wrote -3. Two negatives make a positive. My slope is 3/4. Now my y-intercept is 8. over -4? 8 over -4 is -2. Did I get the same exact thing no matter what equation, the form of the equation? I still got a slope of 3/4 and a y-intercept of -2. You have to be able to differentiate between slope-intercept form and standard form. Very important, because you're going to see both forms on your exam. Okay, so that's going to be the last question for the night. I'm going to post it on YouTube. Anything that if you need to watch this over, if you need to take notes, you can. But tonight is very important. Make sure you can put fractions, decimals, percents in order. Make sure you can find the slope of a line, whether it's standard form or slope-intercept form. Make sure you can find the slope of any line that's parallel, and make sure you can find the slope of any line that's perpendicular. What we did tonight is probably about 1, 2, 3 to 4 questions on your exam. Any questions before we leave?
Mr. Tinsley, can I have a converse with you after class?
Yes.
Mr. Tinsley, you mentioned something about Schoology you wanted to talk to us about.
Could you remind me?
You just said that there was something you needed to talk to us
So
about.
what I did go over early is that I added many different practice tests in pre-algebra tests and the algebra test to Schoology, so you can practice to know. Remember, the score we're looking for, a passing score, you need about 55 to 58% on the real exam. So on these practice exams, you should be consistently scoring over a 60. My exams that I have on Schoology are much harder than the real exam. Not that they're much harder, it's just that I don't use I use multiple choice for almost every, and I mean, the GED uses multiple choice the most. I use a lot of fill-ins. Why? Because I want to make sure you know how to do it. Okay? So if you're scoring consistently on my practice exams over 60, you are ready to take your exam. Schedule a one-on-one with me, and then we're going to schedule your exam to go knock it out. Okay?
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If you're new, make sure, Salam,
Thank you.
do I have your email? Send your email in the chat.
Thank you.
No, I'm new. This is my first time joining.
Right,
But
put
I'm
your email in
pursuing
the
my
chat.
GED, so I'm happy to be a part of it. Sure, I will do that.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Let me stop the recording.